Hi, one SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, April 13th, and the NHL playoffs finally start tonight. And we are going to discuss the first three games that go tonight with SBR contributing NHL handicapper Dana Lane. Dana Lane, are you pumped for the NHL playoffs?
I am pumped. I've been ready for this for months. So let's go and I cross my fingers that my predictions come true.
Absolutely. You know, I get so excited for the NHL playoffs, but then when the lines come out, I kind of forget how tight the lines are and how tough it can be at first to suss out value here. Let's start with Detroit, Tampa Bay. Obviously the issue with Tampa Bay was that they had a lot of injuries, but the reports are that a lot of those guys were practicing, were playing, and are due to suit up tonight. And, so Tampa Bay, obviously, with Bishop, they have a big advantage. We know that Detroit had a bad goal differential this year and maybe is the least qualified team of all the playoff teams to be in the playoffs. But Tampa Bay is a big favorite market-wide, minus 150, and they do have an edge over Detroit, but maybe that edge is completely factored into the line here. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to watch the first game and see exactly how they're going to play each other. But if the last game was any indication, Pete, I don't want anything to do with the Red Wings, especially when we're talking about the total. I don't think they're very good defensively. I've seen, even aside from Stamkos and Stralman, the two names that we talk about the most, I mean, I saw a lot of guys skating past Detroit defenders pretty easily. And what Tampa likes to do is get that puck up the ice. It's almost three passes, and they want to be at the opposing goaltender's crease. But the other factor on this as well is Howard has been confirmed as the goaltender tonight. He only had 37 starts this year. It was so up and back and forth between him and Mrazek, who was going to be the starting goaltender. I am just not going to back a guy that has a barely over a 90% save percentage and a goals against average that's at 2.80. I need a little bit better numbers from my goaltender to look at the under. As far as the side is concerned, Pete, we're going to watch game one. You know that I like Tampa in this series, but the over to me at 5 minus $1.10 looks awfully inviting.
Yeah, that was my lean as well. I have my note here, maybe over, and now thinking about it, maybe the Tampa Bay team total over 2.5. It was maybe the best bet out of them all. All right, and then let's talk about the Rangers and Pitt. Now, this is an interesting one because, Lightning had a lot of injury issues, and it looks like most of them are going to be solved for game one. For Pittsburgh, though, it's not looking as rosy, and I saw that Matt Murray is expected to start in goal here, and he just suffered a concussion on Saturday. So in light of that, Pittsburgh as a big favorite here, although the line did open at minus 135. Now it's all the way up to minus 160 market wide. But my sense is for all of the issues that the Rangers have with their shot metrics, on paper there's a lot of sort of negative indicators for the Rangers. They still have Lundqvist, and anytime you have Lundqvist as a big underdog, especially going against another team that has question marks in goal, I don't know, that looks pretty attractive. What about the Rangers at about plus 150, 145 or so?
Yeah, we know that that I like Pittsburgh in this series, but at this number, let's take a chance on the Rangers tonight. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially if you're getting that plus 48 to plus 50 range, because you could definitely see Lundqvist stealing one of these games. I don't think it's going to be a sweep, so let's get that big money as an underdog, as a road underdog, in at least these first two games that make an attempt. Ryan McDonagh will not play tonight for the Rangers, and I think what's going to happen is you're going to see what has happened. You saw a lot of Penguin money come in because a lot of people think that Girardi and Yandel is not as strong as having McDonagh in the lineup. I think they're strong enough to maybe get a Penguin team that might be sleepwalking a bit, especially at this price, but. Contrary to what maybe you have seen, there is no indication that anybody but Fleury is going to start this game tonight. In fact, he was the first off the ice, which is usually the indication of who's going to start. So
okay.
That's what I have. Maybe you have something different, but I do expect Fleury.
Yeah.
I do expect Fleury tonight, especially with Murray also being hurt and getting banged up over the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And, Lundqvist struggled a little bit down the stretch. What's your read on Lundqvist? You think he's the same old Lundqvist? We don't have to have any worries about him?
He certainly wasn't during the regular season, but again, in front of him, he had to battle injuries, so maybe he was asked to do a little bit more than he usually does. But keep in mind, Pete, when we get into the playoffs, teams play completely different.
Yeah.
And you'll see teams that will get up by a goal and then put 3 or 4 guys on the blue line and dare
Right.
you to beat them moving into the offensive zone, or they'll dump the puck in hopes that you'll won't be able to beat them with your speed. And what they do, teams protect their leads in the playoffs a lot more than they do during the regular season. And Ali Mata might play tonight as well for the Rangers, so that's going to help them defensively as well. I think that number is enough for me to kind of take a chance considering all the money that's pouring in on the Penguins.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Rangers plus 148 is the best line market wide right now. That's at Heritage. And then here we go, the third game, Chicago at St. Louis. We know the issues here, right? Chicago is Chicago, although they do clearly seem to be in at least a minor decline from their pinnacle year to year. They're relying more on special teams now. Their 5-on-5 dominance is not as great as it has been when they were absolutely killing it at will. And then, St. Louis, what's their issue with playoff floundering and just not getting it done when the playoffs start? Tarasenko usually plays well in big games, even if the rest of his team isn't. The line right now that I'm seeing is about minus 130 for St. Louis. Corey Crawford came back, was healthy, was good. So the Blackhawks obviously still have the core that has been so great in the playoffs in recent years. My sense, though, we're taking a shot with St. Louis at minus 130. What do you think about that, Dana Lane?
Well, I'm gonna skip the side again until I see one, because what's going to happen, we don't know how they're going to, like Duncan Keith is not going to play tonight, and I think a lot of the line movement that you see is in relation to that. He's going to be out the first game of the playoffs with his suspension. But the one thing to me is David Backes, who did not play the last 3 games of the regular season for St. Louis, and practice light on Monday and then a full practice on Tuesday. And I think that's important, his play, because he's the top line center. And I want to see how they're able to carry the puck through the neutral zone. Are they as effective in the offensive end? And I just don't think without a healthy Backes that they're going to be as effective. I see this game as an under, which are getting plus money in a lot of spots on this.
Yeah.
Especially with Corey Crawford coming back. Both between Crawford and Elliott, I mean, if you just take those 2 goaltenders, you're looking at an under anyway. But to me, because I think St. Louis is going to be hurting a little bit as far as their effectiveness of carrying the puck into the zone, I think that's going to bode well for the under.
Okay, fair enough. Right now, plus 116 is a line at Pinnacle, but as you said, plus 110 is widely available. If you have some places at plus 115, you can shop around and get that. All right, to recap, Dana Lane liking the over 5 at just about minus 110 in Detroit, Tampa Bay. I like that one, and also the Tampa Bay team total over. And we're both leaning the Rangers at about plus 145 as a big underdog, and Dana Lane likes the under in Chicago, St. Louis. And I think I like St. Louis, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bet that. You would, if you had to have a lean on the side, you would lean Chicago at about plus 120?
I mean, I like Chicago to win this series, so obviously the way I would bet any of these playoffs is just to, go with the side that I like, and at the end you should, at the very worst, be 4-3 if that's where you like it to be. But I can't go against pedigree, Pete. I mean, you gotta beat, in order to be the champion, you got to beat the champion, and until St. Louis can prove as an organization that they can get past the second round, which they haven't done in 15 years, it's very difficult for me to believe that they're going to beat the Blackhawks.
Dana Lane, thanks so much. We will be back with you tomorrow to cover the Thursday games.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pete.